Welcome to Basic Scholars. Today we're going to be talking about all of the required Supreme Court cases for AP government. We're going to be starting off with the oldest one in the book, Marbury v. Madison in 1803, that decided that the courts had the power of judicial review to declare laws passed by Congress as unconstitutional. And then we move on to the next case, which is McCulloch v. Maryland, which decided that the states cannot tax the federal system and the federal government has the power to create a national bank. And we move on to the next one on the list, which is Schenck v. United States in 1919. This case was about Schenck, who was a socialist who published the Left-Wing Manifesto, and the Supreme Court decided that that was illegal because that was during a time of crisis. So it was illegal to send this manifesto and distribute it to all citizens of New York. Then we move on to Brown v. Board of Education in 1954, which decided that race could not be used to segregate school education, public school education, in fact. Then we move on to Engel v. Vitale in 1962, which decided that states did not have the ability to put a state-mandated prayer in public schools because that would violate the Establishment Clause establishing a state religion. Then we move on to Baker versus Carr, which decided that just districts should be made in a matter that every person's vote counted instead of one person's counting less than another's. Then we move on to Gideon v. Wainwright, which incorporated the Sixth Amendment to the states, saying that for poor or indigent accused, they should be provided counsel, as in they should be provided a lawyer to fight for them in court. And then our next case is Tinker v. Des Moines. Tinker v. Des Moines decided that students had protected speech, that they could protest in their school without obstructing the school environment. Then we move on to New York Times Co. versus the United States, which decided that the freedom of the press was incorporated in the First Amendment and that the Nixon papers and other classified documents that New York Times published in their newspaper was not considered illegal, and that the federal government had no reach over them because the press has the freedom of press incorporated in the First Amendment. Then we move on to Wisconsin v. Yoder, where it was decided that it was incorporated that the First Amendment's free exercise clause was applicable to the states as well. And then we move on to Shaw v. Reno, which decided that redistricting of districts could not be based on solely race. And then our next case is U.S. v. Lopez in 1995, which put limits on the Congress's Commerce Clause and decided that Congress could not regulate everything that happens based just on the Commerce Clause. And then we move on to McDonald v. Chicago, which selectively incorporated the Second Amendment to the states, saying that every American citizen has the right to bear arms, as stated in the Second Amendment. And our final one is Citizens United v. FEC, which stated that any labor unions or organizations had the ability to declare political funding for others, and that was a protected symbolic speech. Thank you for listening, guys. I'll see you next time where we will discuss these SCOTUS cases in detail. Until then, subscribe and I'll see you later. Bye bye.